All right, so you bring him in. This guy also has some dog issues, so we've been working on socializing and stuff. Like last time we did like walking together and stuff, not always going to be doable. So what we're going to try here is more so of a looser approach. Okay, a looser approach. Kind of pushing more for that face-to-face. Like you can see, he's got some energy here, right? What's your number set up right now? 45. 45. Okay. So go ahead and just move around with Goku here. Okay. Yeah, this guy's not doing very well. See if we can step in here. Did you hear that weird sound? That's his growl. Good. Move away. And bring Goku back. I'm going to bring this guy to him, to his rear end here. See a little bit of tension there? Yeah. If you want to go sniff them or whatever. Bring Goku around. Bring him again. Back in. Goku's actually pretty curious for a dog that you're rested. Bring this guy around. Want to circle around Goku? Circle? Yeah. One this way. Bring him kind of like right here-ish. No, he's actually interested. He's actually pretty relaxed compared to Bane here. These guys are a few dogs. Yeah. See, I just want to face him. Yeah. He's actually in a pretty social state. right there, you would tap Goku. You know what he's trying to do? Hump, dominate him, right? And I gotta correct him because he's gotta get over. It's like technically for Bane, it makes sense why he wouldn't want him to mount him, right? But because he becomes aggressive for a lot of things, like if he's in the pen and then we bring a dog in and we don't allow any kind of aggression, even if it makes sense. Now, if it's another dog who has no aggression issues, and then like Goku tries to mount him and they correct them, that's different. It's not aggression; that's a correction. This guy gets into aggression. Okay, he does it more frequently than another dog would. So I push these kind of dogs beyond what would be realistic, technically speaking, because of it. Right. So like for Goku, you know, if you're socializing and stuff, and the dog tries to mount him, he goes to be aggressive. Like you would have to correct that because Goku has aggression issues in a lot of different areas, right? So you have to think about it that way. If he didn't, he was completely friendly, no problem with people, no problems with dogs, stuff like that, and he gets mounted, I get where it's coming from. You can always stop it, but it's not the same as a dog that is aggressive more often than not. So I'm gonna have you circle him around, and you're gonna try again with bringing in Goku. I like how easy it is for me just to come in and keep re-engaging. Most dogs they sniff once or twice. Yeah, that's good. Once or twice in minutes. You tap him there? Yeah. Good. Bring him again. Now he wants to go. He's like, no, I'm done with this. I think this guy, if you did it correctly, at least with dogs, would be a lot more social than anything. He wants the game. That was good. Which this is actually a good thing for you because you want to get that husky, right? Because he's getting anxious because he wants to engage with this guy. Okay. We're gonna move around a little bit. One thing we have to watch for. One thing we have to watch for is the face-to-face and that stuff. Now for him, because this is actually good for him. I don't really care how much about him like being as pushy as he is because it allows us to push him more. And then what's your number right now? 45? I'd go up to like 60. Right, because he keeps wanting to mount him again. So ultimately, you want to stop the behavior because if he mounts the wrong dog like Bane, you're going to start something, right? Now, what I like here is that even though he went to go after him, he's not engaging. Like, he's not getting pissed off too, right? This guy, before, if he started something and the other dog went to correct him, he would come back. And that becomes a problem. right? Because he did that with the other dog in the home. He tried to mount her, and she went no, and then he went to bite her down. So he's just backing off, which is good. Get that up a few more times. Bring him toward the front. Every time he comes to the front, he's like, wants to mount. Maybe that's why he has this shit again. He's misunderstood. Good. Let him rest for a second. Very good. Yeah. He has good curiosity, but he just keeps going back and going back and going back, right? So that's good for you because since there's that interest there, if you, like the walk that we did with Kane, you know, when you do it correctly, I believe it'll open them up a lot more, especially with this, because we didn't even do the walk. So this is like the other part of it. Ideally, I always do the walk if I can, because that's the best approach in my opinion, fuse them into each other. But here, if you can just, you know, come in, like we're doing two things. Like one, you're correcting things that you was before after that, like mounting, or if you become aggressive, you can correct that as well. And I think those two things paired together would be really good. And I actually have a client that lives over by you who's trying to socialize her dog as well. So I'll talk to her and then see if she's going to join that group. I think she's in the group. She's going to join it. And then maybe we could potentially set something up, you know. Because it takes repetition. It takes seeing the same dog over and over again to build that trust and correct the stuff you don't want. But then again, you always want to make sure that you're paying attention because let's say Goku's at your side and that dog comes over, it's not going to be the same. It's different, right? Because he's going to probably possess you. So you still have to think about those things. But I think if you're in a setting like at the park or something, and he was able to be running around with another dog, I think from what I've seen today and last time, I think you'll be able to do it. Just have to be careful, okay?
It's not like awkward.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When I used to go, I feel like shut down right away. Like they're super shy and like
Sure.
whining like all the time. You're just like relaxed.
Yeah, and he's never been here before too, so I would have thought the same thing as well. And that's the thing about exposure, you know. It's like Kane, we saw before you, like she was saying that he was excited to go to the park today, and he's only been there 4 times. And I told her she's not in distress all the time now. Because now she's been in the training, and now she's able to enjoy going to the park as opposed to being stressed out about the park. So kind of same thing for this guy. You know, the more you expose them, I understand why you people hide their dogs or whatever, but you know with the right training, it's meant so they can go out and do stuff like that. So the more you expose them to what he's not used to, the more comfortable he gets. Okay. So I think my thing is that whenever you have the time or whatever, like we go muzzle him up, whatever, take them out and start enjoying things, but just you have to be aware. And that's forever. Like that doesn't, change. The dog that you have to just be aware. It's like having a kid. Right? You just don't have a kid and not have to worry about them. Like you always have to worry about them because there's bad people out there, right? So for Goku, you go out, maybe you want to enjoy the park. There's some people that don't have their dogs as well trained as your dog, right? So if they charge him and he responds negatively, well, technically, in his world, that's not wrong, right? But in our world, well, it doesn't translate well. But if you were to ask me, I'll say, well, if the dog wasn't off-leash trained and ran to him and something happened, then that's their fault. And that happened to us like 2 times over this weekend. We had 2 dogs just charge us off-leash out of nowhere, But the dogs we have were friendly, so it wasn't a problem. But if it had been like Goku or another dog, it may have potentially been a problem, And I would have said, like, well, if our dog's on a leash, whether it's a long leash or a short leash, like, and we have the e-collar on, so we're not in the wrong here. Your dog's completely off leash, no control. That's your problem, So that's the whole purpose of training here is being able to do more with him. That's how these guys learn. Because you tried a couple of times, right? We corrected them, we remove them, let them rest for a bit, we repeat. So then he's learning, like if I growl or if I try to become aggressive, I get corrected. If I'm chill, nothing happens, The mounting is different. I can't really make him like being mounted, but I can at least teach him to not become aggressive. Yeah. Nice. He's a board and train. He's here for 4 weeks. Yeah, you thought about it right there. This is all fine. Because this is bothering this guy. Because he just keeps moving and pushing stuff. He's panting too, which is good. Here. So right there when he stood up and came about here, there you could have tapped to back him away. Okay? Like it looked like he stopped himself. Bring it back around here again. See how he keeps switching? Body, see that? It's pretty so tense. Here. I'm ignoring some of these growls. Good. Yeah. Questions about that? If you wanted to work more on socializing stuff, you could come here on Mondays. And then, so he'll be here another week, I think maybe a week and a half. And then we'll have more dogs too. They left for the pack walk or whatever, but I knew this guy was going to be here. And then you can help with him, and then we can use other dogs as well. Might even be able to put them in the group depending on what we have here. But yeah, I think he did really good. I think he did better, way better than I thought he did. Okay. Questions? So, if you want to meet here, just let Maria know, so she can put it on her calendar or whatever.
How do you charge for like daycare?
It's for a single day it's 35, and then we do bundles. So like the 5-day bundle's like 34, it's 170. The 10-day bundle's 330, and then the 20-day bundle's 600. And then you just bring them, you know.
Food, right?
If he eats lunch, you can bring food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he's really funny. And then you can bring them once a week. Like people like they'll do a bundle, they'll bring the dog whenever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Watch here. Hip. Because Ari's trying to dominate him, right? Good. Bring him in again. Yeah. So I don't care if he's smelling, I just don't want any dominating type of behavior. So see how he's backing away? It's because you tapped him, which is fine. Because now he's keeping himself in check. So that's why he's being standoffish. That's normal. But yeah, so if you brought him here for daycare, you just bring him to muzzle and everything. And then we do the 3-day evaluation at $60. If I've already trained the dog, it's not a problem. But you get 3 days of daycare for $20 a day, essentially. And then drop off is between 7 and 10, and then pick up is between 3 and 7. And then if you need to board them, whatever, like you stay there too, it's no problem. Yeah. You bring them here, you have them muzzled and everything. Make sure it's secure, and then we'll see how it does. But if you want next Monday, just tell Maria if you want to meet here, so she can plan for it. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But he did good. It was really good.